be talking about arithmetic and geometric proportions. So let's remind ourselves what a proportion is. A proportion is an equation that states that two ratios are equal. Well, what's a ratio? A ratio is the comparison of two quantities, this is misspelled, my bad, measured in different units. Okay? So make sure you write these down for your vocabulary, proportion and ratio. Next, we have example 1. So this is a proportion. This is two ratios that equal to each other to make a proportion. Now you guys already should know how we solve a proportion. You should be yelling, cross multiply, right? And you should be doing your dance, hopefully. So let's cross multiply. We have 7 times 12 is equal to 8 times m. So what's 7 times 12? Well, 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 1. 84 is equal to 8m. Then we divide by 8. Then we divide by 8. Our 8's cancel. And m is equal to 84 over 8. Now, in your notes, you need to simplify this. You need to simplify this. Let's look at the next one. The same thing. We're going to cross multiply. 4 times x is equal to 8 times 3. So then we have 4x is equal to 24. Then we divide by 4. Divide by 4. 4's cancel. X is equal to 6. Simple. So far, so good. Now, what if we have something that looks like this? It's the same thing. It's a proportion. So when you see the word proportion, you should automatically be saying cross multiply. So let's cross multiply. Here, I need to multiply 4 times the quantity, b minus a. Remember, this is a group. Is equal to 5 times b plus 3, the other group. So here, now we have two sides of our equation. The first thing we're going to do is distribute. 4 times b is 4b. A positive times a negative is a negative. 4 times 8 is 32. Then we distribute 5b plus 15. And then we continue to solve the normal ways that we have. We subtract and add to both sides. So for instance, here, I'm going to add 32. I'm going to add 32. 32's cancel. 4b is equal to 5b plus 47. I'm not done. I still have to solve. So now I'm going to subtract the 5b, subtract the 5b. Then I'm going to get a negative b is equal to 47. Am I done? Can I have a negative b? No. So I'm going to divide by a negative 1. Divide by a negative 1. Negatives cancel. So I have b is equal to negative 47. And of course, to check your answer, you plug it back in. Now let's do another one. Solve this proportion. Again, you're going to cross multiply. 6 times n is equal to 5 times 2n plus 4. Now, here is where I begin solving the normal way. So again, guess what you're going to do in your notes? You're going to solve this. 6n is equal to, I want to see you distribute, and I want to see you distribute and give me the final answer of what n is equal to. All right, so now we have our first word problem. A portable media player has 2 gigabytes of storage and and can hold 500 songs. So one media player has 2 gigabytes and can hold 500 songs. So that's our first ratio, 2 to 500. Now, a similar but larger media player has 80 gigabytes of storage, and how many songs? So this is my gigabytes, and this is my songs. I'm going to set the other side up the same way, with gigabytes on top, songs on bottom. So I know the new player has 80 gigabytes, but we don't know how many songs. So I just set up a proportion. Okay? And when we have a proportion, what do? Cross multiply. So I set up my 2 ratios, have a proportion. 2x is equal to 500 times 80. Now you guys are going to solve that because I don't know what 500 times 80 is off the top of my head. 8 times 5 is 40, so take it's 40,000. And then you're going to divide. So then that's how many songs. And it makes sense because if the first one can hold 500 songs with only 2 gigabytes, then the next one should be able to hold many, many more songs with 80 gigabytes. So also think of the common sense aspect. Now, an 8-ounce can of orange juice contains 97 milligrams of vitamin C. Okay, so there it is. One 8-ounce can of orange juice contains 97 milligrams of vitamin C. So we have 8 ounces on top, the amount of milligrams on bottom, so this is ounces, and we can put milligrams. And that's our ratio. Now it's asking how many milligrams. So there's our x, because we don't know how many milligrams are there in a 12-ounce can. Our ounces are on top, right? Milligrams on bottom. We set up 2 equal ratios. So now we need to cross multiply. We have 8 times x is equal to 97 times 12. Again, this is simple. Now we set it up. You're going to multiply 97 times 12. You're going to multiply the 8x, and you're going to solve for x by dividing. All right, so now let's talk about geometric proportions. Okay, so now we have a building here that's x feet tall, and then we have a young lady here that's 5 feet tall. Well, in order to solve geometric proportions, the first thing you need to know is that they're similar. So it tells us here that you have 2 similar triangles. Okay, makes one triangle, and this makes the other. So the sun is hitting them at the same angle. The distance here is 15 feet, and the height here is x feet. Distance here is 3 feet. The height is 5 feet. So you're going to set up your proportion and you're going to match everything, right? So I'm going to put her 5 feet. This is the height, right? Then on bottom, I'm going to put the 3 feet, and that's the distance. Okay? Now, I need to find the height of this building, so I'm going to do the same thing, right? I'm finding the height. The height is on top, so I'm going to put x on top. And I'm going to put the distance is 15 feet. Okay, height on top, distance on bottom. Now I have a proportion, and now I can cross multiply. So I've got 5 times 15 is equal to 3 times x. Okay, so now you just solve this as we normally do. Multiply 5 times 15. 5 times 5 is 25. So we've got 75 is equal to 3x. Then we divide by the 3, divide by the 3. X is equal to, give me your final answer. All right. Now we have a 6-foot man is standing next to a flagpole. So we don't have any pictures here to go by. So what I always do is I draw my pictures. So don't make fun of my drawing. Here's my flagpole, right? And let's do our flag. Yay, our flag, right? And he's standing next to the flagpole. The shadow of man is 3.5. So here he is. Here's my stick figure of the man. Yay, he's happy and he has right? So the shadow, he's going to cast the shadow. The shadow is 3 feet. Okay, so this distance here is 3 feet. That's 3.5, excuse me, that's his shadow, right? The shadow of the flagpole, that's this distance, is 17.5 feet, right? And how tall is the dude? Well, he's 6 feet, right? So doesn't this look similar to the building? We want to find out how tall is the flagpole. So I'm going to set up 2 ratios. The height over the distance, 6 over 3.5 is equal to this height, which we don't know, over the distance, which is 17.5. And then what are you going to do? Now you have a proportion, so you're going to cross multiply. 6 times 17.5 is equal to 3.5 times x, and then you're going to solve. All right, that was algebraic and geometric proportions. Make sure you take your notes, guys. Referrals.